Welcome back to the Vibrant Soulful Wellness Podcast, a space for simple ideas, practical strategies, and meaningful practices to support more vibrant, soulful living at work and in life. I'm your host, Annie Barrett. For over 25 years, I've guided individuals, groups, and workplaces toward greater well-being and fulfillment, drawing on coaching, lifestyle medicine, habit change science, mindfulness, Ayurveda, and yoga. Each episode offers grounded, accessible reflections and tools you can actually use without adding more to an already full life. I'm really glad you're here. Over the past few weeks, we've been exploring spaciousness and then resetting our routines, especially because it's springtime. And today I want to talk about what naturally comes next, which is growth. Once we create a little more space and begin to reset our rhythms, we often come right up against something else, which is the edge of change. You may have heard of the term growth mindset as compared to fixed mindset. Fixed mindset we think of as an old dog can't learn new tricks. Hey, I'm just the way I am. I'm just going to keep doing things the way I always have done things. I can't really change. Growth mindset is this belief in our capacity to change and grow throughout our lifetime, to learn new habits, to create new ways of doing things, to learn from feedback, to not feel like we're fixed, but instead that we're malleable. And it's really about whether we believe change is possible. And I'll just bring this back to myself. Let's make this really personal. There's a few things in my life that I would say are bringing me right up to my growing edges and bumping up against what I believe is possible for myself. One of them is that I have started writing a book. I have felt like that a book is in me for a while. I've wanted to write a book for women in the time of life that I'm in, seeing this time of life as an opportunity to deepen. But guess what? I was really scared to start writing this book. I had a huge feeling of imposter syndrome, feeling that it could be too hard, but I'm doing it. I am right up against that growing edge, spending a little bit of time on most days working on the manuscript. So yeah, that's my growing edge. Another growing edge is getting up a little earlier, starting my day with a little more attention and intention. I bet you have some growing edges as well. And I know my clients do. Lately, I've been talking to my yoga people and also coaching clients, and everybody is trying to change a particular habit. I have coaching clients that are trying to change their eating habits. I have clients who are changing up their morning routines, trying to stay off of their phones and devices for the first part of the morning, trying to be more intentional about the way they use their break time, taking walks during their breaks as opposed to scrolling. Anyway, all of us find that we have habits that have momentum and we can keep doing the same thing over and over again. And when we're trying to change, we find ourselves being pulled back into old habits. It can be kind of discouraging because often we want quick results. But I see this all the time. We start to make a shift. Maybe it's going well for the next day or so. And then very quickly, we find ourselves backtracking. And then the mind comes in with this idea, hey, this isn't working, or I'm not good at this, or I knew I couldn't change anyway. I knew I couldn't go to the gym, change my eating habits, write a book, whatever it is, right? And at that moment right there, that is the growing edge we're talking about. A growing edge is that space between where we are and where we want to be. And it usually feels uncomfortable. Like me deciding I'm going to write a book and then committing to it. It's like there's an enthusiasm there and then there's a real discomfort. And frankly, I'll tell you, there is a doubter that comes in. There's a resistant part of me that comes in. There's an inconsistent part of me, a part of me that feels fickle. And for all of us, that's true. moving from where we are and where we want to be, the parts of us that doubt, the parts of us that resist or rebel, the parts of us that feel fickle. For today, as I think about that, I'm just going to bring it back to the season of spring. And any of us who are outside, walking or gardening, we know spring is a time of growth, but growth doesn't happen all at once. Growth can be gradual, can ask for patience, especially when we're talking about growth in our own lives, change in habits, change in the way we are working, moving, interacting with others. Things don't bloom overnight. We have to give ourselves patience, grace, and understanding. So I invite you to think about what a growth mindset would look like for you. What is one small adjustment that I could make? How can I stay with this a little longer and be patient? How can I bring some understanding and compassion to the part of me that is doubting, the part of me that's resisting? And oftentimes it's just taking a deep breath. I'll go back to what we talked about a couple of episodes ago. Making space, taking a deep breath in, perhaps a long, slow breath out. Noticing where I am being invited to grow right now. And we might bring it back to what I talked about in the episode about space, breathing into a bigger sense of self. Room to breathe, space to grow. Self with a capital S loves growth, wants to see us grow in this lifetime. When we're connected to that part of ourselves, our core, we're connected to, I want to grow. I want to be more skillful, more alive, more vibrant, more compassionate, more kind, more creative. And that's where the growing edge gets really exciting. What would it look like to meet that place of growth with more patience, more breath, more vitality, more care? So this is the kind of work that we're exploring this month in my newsletter, in my membership. We don't have to do this perfectly, but we get to do this in a steady and supported way. And I'm hoping that you feel steadied and supported perhaps with this podcast. Thanks for listening to this episode on growth mindset and the Vibrant Soulful Wellness podcast. If you have enjoyed this podcast, I invite you to subscribe wherever you listen: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music. To stay connected, you can visit vibrantsoulful.com, where you can join my weekly newsletter. You can find links to episodes and explore additional resources to support your well-being. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.